U.S. and Chinese officials have announced that they've reached a framework agreement on the ownership of TikTok's U.S. operations. U.S. President Donald Trump is now planning to speak with his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping on Friday to possibly finalize the deal. Our Seung-jae reports.
Washington says the United States and China have reached a framework agreement on the future of TikTok's U.S. operations, a move that could end months of uncertainty over the popular social media platform. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent made the announcement during trade talks in Madrid on Monday, explaining that the framework lays the groundwork for American ownership of TikTok's U.S. arm.
We have a framework for a TikTok deal. The two leaders, President Trump and Party Chair Xi, will speak on Friday to complete the deal, but we do have a framework for a deal with TikTok.
In a post on his social media platform Truth Social, Trump wrote that the trade discussions had gone very well and would soon conclude. Without directly naming TikTok, he said an agreement had been reached with a certain company that young Americans were eager to see saved and predicted they would be very happy with the outcome. China confirmed that a framework agreement exists, but insisted that any deal would not come at the expense of its national interests or its companies.
Regarding the TikTok issue, China consistently opposes the politicization, instrumentalization, and weaponization of scientific, technological, and economic and trade issues. China will never seek to reach any agreement at the expense of its principled stance, corporate interests, and international fairness and justice.
The talks come as a critical deadline approaches. Under bipartisan legislation passed by the U.S. Congress last year, TikTok's Chinese parent company, ByteDance, must divest its American operations by September 17th or face a nationwide ban. The measure followed long-standing concerns in Washington that TikTok could share sensitive user data with Beijing, posing a national security threat. President Trump has already granted 3 extensions to the deadline, but pressure has continued to mount for a resolution. Trump also announced that he would hold phone talks with Chinese President Xi Jinping on Friday, while emphasizing the strong relations with Beijing. The phone talks could also spark a potential meeting between the two leaders during next month's APEC Summit in South Korea. Seung-jae, ArirangNews.